welcome back. It's Wednesday now, and here's your lesson for today. So keep remembering how you have to convert, because that's going to come into play today in some of your questions on when you go on Khan Academy. All right, so today we're just going to talk about when you want to add mixed numbers and when you want to subtract them. Pretty quick lesson, but then you have some videos to watch. So the first thing is to add the whole numbers first. Easy peasy, right? If we want to go ahead and decompose these, we could do 2 wholes plus 4/8 and 1 whole plus 3/8. So we're going to just add the whole numbers first. We're going to add 2 and 1. We have 3. Okay, we don't really need to draw these pictures. We just can add the numbers. We know that we have 2 wholes and 1 whole would be 3. Normal adding that you've always done. Now we're going to look at just adding the fractions. Okay, remember that 8 is the bottom number. It's the denominator. You're not going to change the amount that you cut the pieces into. You just want to add up how many, let's say, were eaten by 2 people if they were eating a pizza. So you're going to add the top numbers, 4 plus 3, and that's 7/8. Now certainly if you want to draw this picture and you want to go ahead and count all the pieces, you can do it that way, but this is much simpler just to add what you have. Pretty easy, okay? Let's look at another one now. So we added the whole numbers first, then we added the fractions. Now convert if needed. So we're going to look at that right now, okay? So again, we're doing the same thing. We're going to add the 2 numbers, the 2 wholes, and I'm just going to put a plus sign in here to remind you that you're decomposing them, you're taking them apart. So 3 plus 2 is 5, okay? And then we have 4/6 and 2/6. So the bottom number is going to stay the same, 6. And then you're going to add the top, the numerator, 4 plus 2 is 6. Now if we were at school, I'd say, does this look like we could do anything different with it? And I'm sure I would get some people to raise their hand. So what is 6/6, you guys? Do you remember? 6/6 is the same number on top as bottom. That means it's a whole number. So I have a whole pizza. If I shaded in 6/6, if I said there was 6/6 of a pizza left, that means there was all of the pizza was left. Maybe it had anchovies and nobody wanted it. All right, so I can, this is where converting comes in. I can convert that and say, okay, that's really a whole. So I'm going to add 5 plus 1, another whole, and then my answer is going to be 6 wholes. Okay, so it is possible that even though you're adding mixed numbers together, you might have a whole number, or you might go over a whole number and then have to convert it. All right, so when you get done with this on Khan Academy, there's going to be a watch adding mixed numbers video, okay, and then now we're going to look at subtracting. Okay, when subtracting mixed numbers, you're going to start the same way. You're going to subtract the whole numbers. So again, I'm subtracting 7 and 2. I'm taking 2 away from 7. 7 minus 2 is 5. And then I'm going to subtract the fractions, because remember, you decompose these, you take them apart. So this is pretty easy. It's cut into 6. I have 5/6 minus 3/6. Bottom number stays the same. You're not going to change how much you cut it into, but you're going to subtract these numbers. 5, cover this up, 5 minus 3 is 2/6. So my answer, we're going to put these together, okay, would be 5 and 2/6. Now, think for a minute, is there anything else that could be? You could reduce this to 5, 2 goes into 6 3 times, and 1/3. You don't need to worry about that, but that's just a little extra. That's when we talk about equivalent fractions, okay, 2/6 and 1/3 are equal to each other because you can divide them both by 2. You have to be able to do whatever you do to the top, you have to do the bottom. Whatever you do the bottom, you have to do the top. All right, so I did put a picture here. I could do a picture and I could draw 7 wholes, right? And then I have it divided into 6. Okay, so then I could take this, I could say, okay, I need to subtract 2. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left. And then over here, I had, how many did I have shaded? I had 5 shaded. But I want to take away 3. 1, 2, 3. And then you have 1, 2 left. left, which is 2/6. Okay, just a quick little picture. You could draw that as a picture. All right, now here's a weird thing. Sometimes you might get a question that's like this. We have an improper fraction, 14 halves, minus 5 and 1/2, not 7, sorry. So 14 halves minus 5 and 1/2. Well, how are we going to do that, Mrs. Swin? We can convert this and say, well, 2 goes into 14 7 times. We just did it. But then we have 7 minus 5 1/2, and then you're kind of getting confused at borrowing and regrouping. So the best thing to do when you have one of these is change this guy here. So you're going to keep 14 halves the same, minus, you remember how to convert it? 2 times 5 is 10, so you do your multiplying, plus 1 is 11. So that now equals 11 halves. So you're going to subtract 11 halves. So if I have 14 halves minus 11 halves, remember the bottom number stays the same when subtracting 2. 14 minus 11 is 3. So your answer would be 3 halves, but it can also then be converted back to a mixed number. And you say 2 goes into 3 how many times? Once. What do I have left? Well, I can get a 2 out of that, so I have 3 minus 2 is 1, so it's 1 and 1/2. So that is the converted. I know that's kind of confusing. You don't get a lot of these, but sometimes the easiest way to do it is to put them both in improper form, improper fraction, and then subtract them. That's what we did here. We had to make them look the same. Now, some of you could have done 7 minus 5 1/2. Do you know what the mistake would be? The mistake would be that you guys would subtract these numbers and say, oh, it's 2 1/2 left. But that's not correct because you have a half. So you could do 7 minus 5 is 2, minus another half would be 1 1/2. So you have to be careful. That's why it's better to convert them to improper fractions so they look alike and then subtract them. All right, so again, when you did the adding the mixed numbers, I told you there would be a Khan Academy video to watch on adding mixed numbers. So you're going to watch that video, and then you're going to watch a subtraction video, and then after you watched both videos, you're going to do the question set for both. And I believe that was our 7 questions. So that's it. You might have some questions about this, so if you do, please let me know on your channel. And it's the same kind of setup. It's seven questions, converting one way or the other. So that's it for today. Please make sure you're doing those. That's how I keep track of how you're doing, and if you are ready for that quiz on Friday, I need to have these done by Thursday morning so that I know who do I need to reach out to make sure that you're understanding what you're supposed to do before the quiz, or else you're not going to do so good on the quiz. All right, that's it. Have a great Wednesday. It's hump day. Bye.